Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network. Novel. Zongmang. Notebook Painter, join chat group at the beginning. Bai Chengfeng travels to the daily world of Zongmang and obtains the Benzi Painter system. As long as you keep drawing, you can extract various supernatural abilities from it. He drew a series of works such as Time Stop Series, XX Modulation Mode, and Touch Summoning XX. He thought he would be in this everyday world. Spend exciting days. But he didn't expect to be pulled into a place called Wanjie Chat Group.Waquan Shawu. Euni sauce is the best person. Butterfly Ninja said, time has stopped, how could there be such an unreasonable ability? Heita. Why are your abilities so abnormal? Lucy. Are you sure this is called overthrowing the city of night? Why do everyone think you're their friend? What, you said it's hypnosis. It's too exaggerated. Introduction is weak, please refer to the main text. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Time Stop Series. Join a chat group. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At night. Located in an apartment not far from Shoji Academy. A rare snow-white boy with short hair and a tall figure stood straight, with a moderate light smile on his face. Although wearing only affordable casual clothes. The feeling it brings to people is like a full moon hanging in the sky, which can only be admired. Teacher Hechuan, this is my manuscript for this time. Can you see if there is anything that needs improvement? Bai Chengfeng held the painting in his arms and handed it to the woman in front of him. In front of him. It was none other than Mrs. Izumi, who had smooth white hair. Her cool clothes in a sheer dress couldn't conceal her beautiful figure. That's right, he's a traveler. Traveled here 2 months ago. And his identity in this universe is that of a student residing in the Izumi family. After Mrs. Izumi finished browsing the last page of the painting. Her cheeks were slightly flushed, but her eyes showed a look of amazement. She lightly placed her fair fingers on the painting, and the sunset was imprinted above through the window. She placed her gaze on Bai Chengfeng and chuckled lightly. If it were just animation techniques, you would be quite mature now. This is only a few short months. I am already able to draw to this point, and my talent is quite good. However, the subject matter is a bit limited. So far, all 3 of your notebooks are in the Time Stop series. Do you want to try drawing something else? In the past short month, the young man in front of me has already become a rising star in the primordial realm. Although the subject matter is singular, the painting skills are outstanding, and the plot is excellent, leaving one lingering and unforgettable. Thanks to your recommendation, teacher. Bai Chengfeng said humbly. If it weren't for Mrs. Izumi's recommendation, I wouldn't have been able to quickly become popular. As for the theme, I have also had some ideas recently. It will show up soon. Mrs. Hechuan nodded in satisfaction. Bai Chengfeng's drawing skills were quite outstanding, and with a little touch, he could draw very well. For her, there is also little experience of teaching others. However, she recently discovered. For some reason, Bai Chengfeng always appears elusive. Sometimes I'm still in the room, but as soon as I turn my head, I realize there's no one in sight. I don't know what I'm really busy with. However, she didn't pay too much attention. Returned the artwork in hand to Bai Chengfeng. She stood up lazily and stretched lazily, her slender jade fingers lightly pursing her lips. Turn around and leave straight away. Bai Chengfeng took a few sneak glances at Mrs. Izumi's proud figure. He turned around and returned to his room, ready to publish his artwork. I hope to improve my abilities after this release. Can make my time stop and rise to LV5 level. Bai Chengfeng's eyes showed anticipation. That's right. Since Bai Chengfeng is a traveler, nature also awakened its own system. His system name is Benzi Painter system, which can extract items and abilities that have appeared in his own drawn notebooks. When Bai Chengfeng first awakened his system, he thought he was going to be invincible. After all, there are so many supernatural abilities in the notebook. No matter what kind of world modulation hypnosis, they are all quite powerful. But it wasn't until after his own experiment that he realized that the level of extraction ability was determined by the popularity and number of fans of the notebook itself. Moreover, it may not necessarily lead to the most desired ability being drawn. So, Bai Chengfeng had to first use the excuse of earning living expenses. Learn a painting notebook with Mrs. He Quan and try to accumulate popularity and fans. And he also knows. At the beginning, the value of ability lies in the quality rather than the quantity. So, from the beginning, Bai Chengfeng only focused on one ability. That's the famous Time Stop series. Name: Bai Chengfeng. Age: 18. Occupation: notebook painter, professional ability. Painting LV3, expert level, extraordinary ability. Time stop LV4, refreshed once a day, can be paused at any time for a total of 10 minutes, note. Creatures that have been stopped by time have fuzzy perception, and the stronger their strength, the more likely they are to perceive it. That's right. This is the ability he currently possesses. 10 minutes of accumulated time to stop, although it may not seem like much, is basically enough to face most of the dangers. And once my fan base and popularity increase, the Time Stop series created will definitely yield stronger abilities. Besides, this is just an ordinary daily anime world, and my current abilities are completely sufficient. After a slight analysis by Bai Chengfeng, his expression relaxed as he lightly tapped his fingers to release the latest artwork. Tomorrow, I will be a transfer student entering Shoji Academy. Just at this moment. Dong! Suddenly, a knocking sound came from the door. Come on in. Accompanied by a creaking sound as he pushed the door open, Waquan Shawu, wearing summer short sleeves and stepping on white socks, ran into the room holding a blanket. Shawu, what are you doing? Bai Chengfeng put down his mouse and looked at the veil of mist, revealing his doubts. Well. That, Euni sauce, I'm afraid of the dark. Can I sleep with you? I'll cover the blanket. Shawu said timidly. She looked at Bai Chengfeng with anticipation on her face. During this period, she and Bai Chengfeng became close friends without hesitation, and privately treated each other as their godbrothers. I'm afraid of the dark. If Mrs. Izumi finds out, I will be told later. Bai Chengfeng's face showed helplessness. He's just treating Shawu as his younger sister, after all, he's not a lowly fan. Oni sauce, don't worry. Mom will stay up late. And I'll be back in the morning. The water blue gemstone-like pupils of Izumi Sawa mist appeared pitiful with mist. Okay. But we have to split the blankets. At this moment, Bai Chengfeng hesitated for a moment and could only nod. Sha Wu said so. If he refuses again, it would be a bit inhumane. Just as he was about to check the harvest of the new picture book. On a peaceful day. Distinctive mechanical and electronic warning sounds as it resounded, a brand new pitch black text emerged in my eyes. Wanjie Dimension Exchange Group, inviting you to join, do you agree? Yes/no at this moment. Bai Chengfeng squinted his eyes slightly. Wait, Wanjie Chat Group, isn't that right? If he had the opportunity, he could also utilize the popularity of other worlds together. This is a great opportunity. Isn't it a waste not joining? Bai Chengfeng's gaze solidified. Join. P.S. Brothers, please support. Share some free data. You can also leave a comment. Give the author some motivation, the first day data determines everything. Add 1 chapter to 1,000 fresh flowers. 100 evaluation votes plus 1 more chapter. 1 monthly pass with 1 more chapter. Chapter 2. Lucy of Night City. Extract WorldPass. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Group reminder. Welcome, Benzi Painter, to join the chat group. Group reminder. Welcome the girl who dreams of going to the moon to join the chat group. Mingxian Island Thunder God. Welcome, this is a place for people from different worlds to communicate. Ms. Xuanzhuan said, there are new people here again. If possible, could you please talk about the world's technological level? This day, let's see what's worth noting. King Arthur said, I said, Black Tower, you're also a little too anxious. Let me introduce you. King Arthur. Newcomer, the group functions and announcements here basically explain the abilities of the group. If you sign in now, you can also earn corresponding points. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. There are many uses of integration, Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Speaking of which, the group names of the two newcomers are quite surprising. Mingxian Island Thunder God. Indeed, what do notebooks and the moon mean respectively? King Arthur said, I have some modern knowledge on my end. You should know by sending out the documents later. Even the constellation of the spirit is idle. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. By the way, you can go to the group announcement where you can download a background information about the world, which will involve some future events. Night City. On a bed in a room. A girl with a delicate little face, a tall figure, and short pink and ice blue hair. Staring at the light curtain ahead with those neon-colored pupils. For a while. A look of surprise couldn't help but appear in her eyes. Wanjie Chat Group. Is what these people are saying true, or is it simply hacking? Hackers who can quietly infiltrate my mind. There's no need to joke. Lucy hesitated for a moment. Finally, click on the group function section. I saw a red dot flashing in the World Information column. She clicked in and found that the file could be downloaded, so she immediately clicked. After a moment. Wait until she finishes receiving the documents. The girl who was originally a bit unbelievable instinctively covered her mouth. The things described above beyond her expectations. If what is said above is true. So these world information undoubtedly represent the future. The girl who dreams of going to the moon said. This is actually true. I thought this group was created by hackers, so I didn't say hello. I'm very sorry. The girl in a circle said, it's okay, it's okay. Would you be willing to share some world information? The girl in the circle said, just about the world technology part. Soon. Pass a new file to the chat group. After a moment of silence. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Is this actually a world like this? Perhaps sometimes, people's hearts are even more terrifying than ghosts. This sentence is not wrong. Thunder God of Mingxian Island. The whole city feels like it needs to be properly reorganized. King Arthur said, unfortunately, I'm not good at making props, otherwise I might be able to help you a little. King Arthur said, but even if we go to the moon, it's just an escape. The girl in a circle said, cut. It's just this level of technology, it really makes people lose interest in research. It's really a waste of hope. The girl in a circle said, do you need me to help you? Benzi Painter. It's not difficult to solve the problem of Night City, but what's troublesome is how to change the atmosphere of the entire city. Benzi Painter. Otherwise, even if we eliminate the wasteland, the Night City will not be peaceful. King Arthur said, another newcomer has also come out. He said very well. As a king, simple slaughter cannot change the world. King Arthur. And even if you want to help, there's nothing you can do, right? Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Yes, you know that traveling through the world requires a full 1000 points. A day of check.In only earns 1.10 points. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. It's enough to sign in for many days. The girl who dreams of going to the moon. But besides the moon, even if she stays in the night city all the time, she will only experience pain. The girl in a circle said, "Hey, hey, did you forget about the newcomer lottery?" The girl in a circle said, "Maybe you'll get something good." Upon hearing this, soon, the sound of group prompts rang out in the group. Ding! Congratulations to the group members on the girl who dreams of going to the moon for the newcomer lottery reward. 50 points. Lucy looked at the information in the group and felt somewhat disappointed. These 50 points. Although it's good, it won't make a fundamental change. After all, there are quite a few weapons of mass destruction in Night City. Just relying on this point of integration is not enough to provide substantial assistance. And everyone in the group comforted each other. The girl in a circle said, 50 points, I'm already very lucky. King Arthur. Yes, you have to sign in for 10 days to get so many points. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Let's take a closer look at the information about your world. It may not be long before something unexpected happens. And while they were discussing. Next up. A new group prompt sound echoes. Ding. Congratulations to the group member, Benzi Painter, for the newcomer lottery reward. WorldPass *1, with the consent of others, you can freely travel to other worlds once, worth 1000 points. PS World information only consists of flickering fragments and textual descriptions, without specific and detailed content, similar to watching a clip and ending about the future of the world, but not clear about the process in between. Chapter 3. Time Ability Upgrade. Yingli Pear. 4. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The notebook painter said, It looks like I'm lucky. Mingxian Island Thunder God. Hiss. This luck is too exaggerated, isn't it? The girl in a circle said. Are you really a painter? King Arthur. In modern society, it's not an exaggeration to describe it as the son of destiny. This world pass is extremely precious. The girl who dreams of going to the moon. Envy. Looking at the young girls in the group, Bai Chengfeng's face showed helplessness. He didn't expect his luck to be so good. However, before this conversation, he has one more thing to attend to. That is to stop the notebook for the settlement of the third part. Obtain the ability to update and strengthen. So. The notebook painter said, Cough, I have something else to do, so I'll go get busy first. The notebook painter said, See you tomorrow. After he finished sending the message. It is the silent communication system in the heart that settles the rewards for this notebook. Select the work stopping female sleeping time for work evaluation, ding. We are deducing based on the number of fans and quality. Judgment completed, fame. B. Number of followers. C+, the system's popularity and fan base are divided into several levels. D, C, B, A, S, SS, and SSS. They represent different levels of popularity. Block, village, city, country, intercontinental, planet, just SS level requires a global explosive level, SSS level probably needs to reach the universe. But in this daily world of anime, it's almost impossible. It's too exaggerated to want to become a global sensation with a notebook. I can only say that the conditions are really harsh. Light can have a B. He was already very satisfied. At this point, the sound of the system continues to play. Reward. Time Stop LV4, Extraordinary Ability, current extraordinary abilities have merged. Time Stop LV4 Time Stop LV5, Time Stop LV5, refreshed once a day, can be paused at any time for a total of 30 minutes, note. Creatures that have been stopped by time have fuzzy perception, and the stronger their strength, the more likely they are to perceive it. Look at the subtitles that appear ahead. Bai Chengfeng breathed a slight sigh of relief and then clenched his fist tightly. His heart was filled with joy. Finally, it has been improved to 30 minutes, and I am no longer a 10-minute man. You know, half an hour is compared to 10 minutes. It's not at the same level at all. At the very least, what can be done is not at the same level. However, if you want to gradually strengthen according to rules, you need to start with chat groups. Whether it's group friends or the redemption mall for points within the group. They can all be of great help. Bai Chengfeng took a deep breath. But he didn't notice that the nearby Waquan gauze mist was shrinking under the bed. Those sky-blue beautiful eyes secretly gazed at his face. Bai Chengfeng casually checked in the group. Then he returned to bed to rest. Early the next morning. When Bai Chengfeng woke up, he had already noticed that the veil mist beside him had somehow arrived at his bedside, sleeping in a rather poor posture and scraping onto his body. Boni sauce, Shawu was holding her hands around his neck. The slight fragrance and warmth brought Bai Chengfeng to his senses. Cough, it's time for you to get up, Shawu. He coughed lightly. In my mind, I couldn't help but recall the scale of Mrs. Izumi. It has to be said that the current Zaya Shawu is indeed a potential stock. Good morning, Oni sauce. Waquan Shawu rubbed her eyes and whispered softly like a cute cat. The pajamas she was wearing emitted a hint of spring light, but she stood up from Bai Chengfeng as if unconsciously. After a moment, she seemed to recall something. For a moment, her face turned slightly red, and she picked up the blanket and quickly returned to her room. Looking at this scene, Bai Chengfeng also smiled lightly. Subsequently, he changed into the corresponding school uniform and went to Shoji Academy. Today is his official transfer day, it's not good to be late. First grade Class A. Let me introduce it to everyone. This is the new transfer student. Bai Chengfeng. Hizuka Jing, who was tall and slender, smiled lightly and took a step towards the side, allowing the young man's figure to be reflected in the eyes of everyone. For a moment, the boy attracted the attention of many students. Hello everyone, my name is Bai Chengfeng. Proficient in various languages and also have some understanding of painting. If you need help, you can come to me, although it may not necessarily be helpful. Bai Chengfeng said in a flat tone. And his gaze was on these people. Sure enough, snowy snow, little bird swimming in 6 flowers, silver goe, and others all came into his eyes. And one of them, however, had his pupils slightly contracting. That is a black and straight girl with a beautiful face, but what matters is not her beauty, but her identity. Sigu Jianzi. Commonly known as Jianzi. Having extremely powerful yin and yang eyes, one can clearly see powerful evil spirits, gods, and other spiritual bodies that ordinary spiritual abilities cannot see. Luck seems to be good. When encountering various dangers, one can always turn them around. This is what Bai Chengfeng remembers. If she remembers correctly. The worldview of Shigu Jianzi is an existence with extraordinary elements such as ghosts. If, assuming there is such a thing in this world of anime. So the ability to stop based solely on time is not considered safe. For a while. The sense of crisis in Bai Chengfeng's heart suddenly rose. It seems that he also needs to work hard to improve his current strength. And Hiratsuka, on the other hand, let out a deep thought. Since Bai Chengfeng likes to draw, let's go sit next to Yingli. For this arrangement. Bai Chengfeng naturally has no objections. And behind the scenes, Yingli is actually just like him, a notebook painter. Perfect match for the profession. Under the guidance of the teacher, Bai Chengfeng quickly arrived at his seat. Ding dong dot. After the class bell rings. He also took advantage of class to open a chat group and flip through the records. See if there are any places where you can earn points. Chapter 4. The Ghost Destruction plot begins. Scratching the Arsenal. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. I'm afraid the plot on my end has already begun to unfold. Tanjiro and her sister have already appeared. See this message. At that moment, the group members who had witnessed the group files naturally understood the situation. The plot of the world and Blade of the Demons has already begun. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. It's a bit troublesome. I'm not ready yet. Shenming Island Thunder God. Isn't that quite good? I remember in the end, your world seemed to have a successful victory over ghosts, right? King Arthur. Well, I remember it the same way. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. That's what I said, but I hope to minimize the sacrifice. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Based on the original world information, there will definitely be casualties in our world. If only it could be avoided. The girl in a circle said, if you want to get good results without any sacrifice. The girl in a circle said, you're really a greedy guy. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Even if there's a chance, I don't want my sister's tragedy to happen again to anyone else. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Moreover, I have also obtained a mission on my end. As long as I can ensure that all pillars survive before there is no tragic death, I can earn 6,000 points, and 1,000 points will be deducted for each pillar that dies. King Arthur said, 6. I remember on your side, plus you, there are a total of 9 pillars, which is quite lenient. The girl in the circle said, but this also represents unbeatable strength, surpassing the pillar too much. The girl who dreams of going to the moon. I can provide some recipes here. Look at your world, can you find similar medicinal herbs? The girls in the group were discussing for a moment. But in a short period of time, no good solution can be found. And at this point, Bai Chengfeng squinted instead. He is naturally clear about the world of Blade of Ghost Destruction. I didn't expect someone to give me a pillow when I fell asleep. This is a great opportunity to earn points. Notebook Painter. I can help. The Notebook Painter said, but there are also conditions. I want 4,000 points. His speech. It immediately caught the attention of other group members. King Arthur. The newcomer is probably a hidden big shot. Although their strength is ordinary, it's not easy to uncover them. Shenming Island Thunder God. Indeed, this is an old turtle that has been hidden for thousands of years. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Hey! Can you really help solve it? Butterfly House Worm Pillar. How confident is the boss? Pen Painter. 95%, I have the ability to predict. Seeing Bai Chengfeng's speech. For a moment, everyone in the chat group also fell silent. Because the ability to foresee is quite unique, even in many worlds. Once utilized well. How destructive is it? It's absolutely terrifying. I didn't expect this newcomer to be such a big shot. With his help, wouldn't it be possible to solve the world's problems in minutes? The girl in a circle said, anticipating the future. Is indeed a terrifying power, but once there is an error in predicting the future, it may lead to a completely different outcome. Shenming Island Thunder God. If you have this ability, you can avoid many tragedies, and indeed, the newcomer is a big shot. King Arthur. Hey, it sounds a bit similar to the 1,000 Miles Eye. King Arthur said, among the spirits, there are also very few who possess the ability to see through the past or future, but the number is quite rare. The girl who dreams of going to the moon. Do you foresee the future? In the world of ghost destruction. The girl in the Ghost Killer team uniform sat cross-legged on the tatami mat. The team uniform is adorned with butterfly wing patterns on the outside. Butterfly couldn't help but stare at the message in the chat group, feeling excited for a moment. If this is true. So she has a chance to seek revenge and eliminate the ghost tribe. As for points and so on, it's just a small matter compared to hatred towards ghosts. It's nothing at all. When it comes to the possibility of completely annihilating the ghost tribe. She responded to the message. Butterfly house worm pillar. No problem. Please don't hesitate to take action, big shot. The notebook painter said, okay, I'll prepare and head to your world. Subsequently, Bai Chengfeng left the chat group. He was not in a hurry to go to the world of ghost destruction, as he couldn't die yet. In the world of manga, I easily completed the first day of the course. Get to know classmates in the class and collect your own textbooks. For him, who had a decent education in his previous life, this level of knowledge is still quite simple. Subsequently, not long after, Bai Chengfeng returned home and instead began to prepare. Since it's the world of the blade of ghost destruction, even if I have the ability to stop in time, I must be extremely careful. But since these ghosts will be damaged by explosions, so when it comes to handling it, it's not too complicated. It's time to let him know that times have changed. Bai Chengfeng's eyes showed amusement. Immediately, his figure left the room, looking up at the sun in the sky. The gentle sunlight shines down. Not long after, Bai Chengfeng's figure appeared near the headquarters of the local self-defense force. Pop! He glanced at the sky and gently applauded with both hands. In an instant, a bird froze in mid-air, its vibrating feathers stuck in the air. The pedestrians on the road were frozen by time, their steps and expressions froze there. The car is also stuck on the road, with smoke solidifying in the air. On the street, the door of the coffee shop is open. The salesperson's hand stays in the air, while the coffee pot hangs in the air, still dripping coffee into the cup. The airplane in the sky also quietly hovered there, like a huge oil painting. The stillness of time makes everything seem particularly mysterious, as if God has stopped everything, leaving only this stagnant world. Very good. Half an hour is enough. Just enough to empty all the weapons inside the self-defense force. Put it in the system backpack. Bai Chengfeng looked at this scene with satisfaction. His mouth slightly raised, ignoring the armed personnel with live ammunition. Take a straight step towards the arsenal of the self-defense force. Widely plundering. Chapter 5. Go to the world of ghost destruction. Live room activation. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Early the next morning, Bai Chengfeng and Shawu sat at the table eating breakfast together. At this moment, sound came from the nearby TV. Notification. The self-defense force's arsenal has been stolen by unknown individuals. The incident is currently under investigation. Citizens, please do not panic. Mrs. Waquan, who was tidying up the kitchen utensils, frowned slightly. She was wearing an apron, with a mature and girlish look reminiscent of a married woman. It makes people unable to resist imagination. It hasn't been peaceful lately, so be careful when going to school. Mrs. Izumi instructed. Bai Chengfeng and Shawu both nodded honestly. After finishing his work, Bai Chengfeng left the door and did not go to school. But instead, open a chat group and send a message asking questions. The notebook painter said, how about it? I've already prepared it on my end, and what about your end? Butterfly house worm pillar. I have also temporarily set aside some free time on my end. The girl in the circle said, hey. Can we have a live broadcast later? I'm quite curious about that creature called the Ghost King. King Arthur said, speaking of which, I also want to see how you deal with ghosts. The notebook painter said, I don't mind. Butterfly house worm pillar. Okay, I got it. When we get started, we'll start the corresponding live broadcast. Ghosts destroy the world. The clear sky reflects everything. The sunlight enveloped the calm city, and the figure of the butterfly stood in a room. She has a head of black hair with purple bangs at the front and a butterfly hair accessory at the back that looks particularly cute. Her gaze was mixed with hatred, staring intently through the window at several humans on the nearby street. Because of those people, He is a member of the Eternal Bliss cult. And the founder of the Eternal Bliss sect is the murderer of his sister. Tongmo of the second string. All along, she is all searching for a way to seek revenge and the location of her enemies. Now, with the help of that big shot with foresight, we can finally witness that guy's death in person. She suppressed the killing intent in her heart, suppressing the astonishing killing intent. At the same time, in my heart, I expressed some gratitude to the painter of the notebook. After all, if it weren't for the help of the other party. So it's probably difficult for me to personally avenge my sister. It seems that I came at the right time. The position of the second string has already been confirmed, isn't it? Suddenly, a male voice rang out from behind her. The butterfly instinctively clenched the handle of the knife and turned its head, immediately looking away. But what caught her eye was a handsome young man with white hair, his calm sky-blue eyes fixed on her. By the way, it should be our first meeting. My name is Bai Chengfeng. This tone immediately made Butterfly understand the identity of the person in front of her. She quickly stood up and bowed slightly. Hello, Chengfeng Jun. First time meeting. Thank you very much for being willing to help fulfill my wish. Actually, originally, Bai Chengfeng only needed to solve Wu Yan, so the remaining ghosts would definitely die. And Tongmo, on the other hand, requested Bai Chengfeng to kill Butterfly Ninja out of selfishness. Well, there's no need to be so grateful. Anyway, as agreed, I will be given 5,000 points. If it weren't for the extra 1,000 points, I wouldn't have helped you for nothing. Bai Chengfeng said calmly. He agreed to this transaction only because Butterfly Ninja was more sensible. Anyway, for him, solving both of these is easy. No problem. So, Lord Chengfeng, what should we do next? Butterfly nodded obediently. Then he looked at the boy eagerly, waiting for his answer. Let the wind-riding king, who has the ability to prophesy, arrange everything. That's the best. It's easy, just go find him directly. Since he is the leader of the sect, his current position can be determined by a little inquiry. Bai Chengfeng's answer. Let the butterfly bear and suddenly widen its eyes. You should know that's the second level of string making, and its strength is also quite terrifying among the ghosts of string making. If you go straight to find it, is it a bit dangerous? The girl hesitated a bit. It's okay, then that guy will just leave it to me to solve. Bai Chengfeng noticed the girl's expression and said calmly. And his words. It is to make the butterfly suddenly come back to its senses. Yeah. Chengfeng Jun did not say that he only has the ability to predict the future. A big shot like him. There must be quite impressive abilities. Could you please, Lord Chengfeng? Butterfly glanced at Bai Chengfeng's handsome face and agreed with a slightly red expression. After speaking, she stood up and took Bai Chengfeng to the Eternal Bliss sect. And in the group at this moment. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. I am currently heading to the location of Tongmo with Lord Chengfeng. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. We're ready to start the live broadcast. The girl in a circle said, wow, the current title has changed to Chengfeng Jun. It seems that the newcomer should be very handsome, right? King Arthur. It is indeed a relatively intimate term. King Arthur said, speaking of which, Tongmo is the second string player. Can you endure it? Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Cough. This is not the point. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Lord Chengfeng said he will deal with that guy. The girl who dreams of going to the moon said, a creature named a ghost, it's so strange. What means would it use to kill those guys? King Arthur said, I'll see with my own eyes later. The girl in a circle said, he said he wants to deal with the second string player on his own. It seems that besides his predictive ability, he should also have other combat abilities. The girl in a circle said, but I definitely can't compare with the world on my side. The girl in a circle said, it's just some ordinary ability. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Do not speak ill of Lord Chengfeng. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Anyway, you should watch the live broadcast first, and that's clear. Ding, group member, Butterfly House Worm Pillar opens live broadcast room function, group members can watch on their own. Chapter 6. Adults, times have changed. Shangxian Tongmo. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Ghosts destroy the world. Bai Chengfeng and Butterfly endure after inquiring. Knowing the location of the mansion of the Eternal Bliss cult, they rushed non-stop. But when the two tried to enter the mansion, they were stopped by the teacher at the door. Who is coming? This is the resting place of the sect leader. Idle people, hurry up and leave. Two members holding long sticks shouted in a low voice. Butterfly furrowed her brows, and the killing intent surged in her beautiful eyes. Chengfeng Jun, let me handle this. The words fell. It's like seeing a butterfly endure its light footsteps. Immediately, her figure danced gracefully like a butterfly. The medicinal powder scattered by Haneda enveloped the heads of the two, instantly causing them to fall to the ground. Subsequently, Butterfly Ninja turned her head to look at Bai Chengfeng. Chengfeng Jun, it's not too late. Let's go ahead immediately. The location of Tongmo should be in the hall of the mansion. Her voice fell. Bai Chengfeng nodded calmly and followed her footsteps. After a moment. Located in the hall of the mansion. The young man with 7 rainbow eyes and white oak-like hair color sat cross-legged on the soft sofa, smiling at the visitor at the door. It seems that they are coming for me. It's really strange, how did this thing get out? Although my followers are around 250, there should be no possibility of leaks. Can you tell me the reason? The young man had a strange smile that seemed to pity the world. His tone was very sincere, as if he was not afraid of any malicious intent. Reflected in the eyes of the two newcomers in front, Butterfly Ren immediately clenched the handle of the knife. The second string up. Tongmo. The killer of my sister. Must take you down. She looked at the other person with a cold gaze, gripping the sunwell blade tightly around her waist. The scenes of the past appeared in her eyes. Make her convinced. This is definitely a good opportunity to kill the other party. Sister. Oh, it's Chana Hui, she is indeed a kind and lovely girl. It's a pity that I couldn't eat her at that time. Tongmo continued to smile and said. However, there was no emotion mixed in his smile, and even the fear of death did not exist. He took out the 2 golden iron fans from his arms. The fan is engraved with pink-purple lotus flowers and green lotus leaves, covered in cold frost. However, her sister came to deliver it to her door, which can be considered as fulfilling her wish. He can sense it. Only Butterfly Ninja should master breathing techniques. And as for that young man, judging from his breath, he was just an ordinary person, don't waste so much time talking to him. Butterfly Ninja, I'm going to start taking action now, no problem, right? Bai Chengfeng said calmly. The butterfly gritted its teeth and nodded heavily, At this point, as the screen in the live broadcast room reflects, it enters the chat group. It also makes many group members look forward to it. Shenming Island Thunder God. That's the newcomer. He looks really good, no wonder Shaoran looks like he's maintaining himself. The girl who dreams of going to the moon. Wow. It seems that Chengfeng Jun is getting ready to take action. The girl in a circle said, well, it's boring anyway. Let me take a look too. King Arthur. I'm looking forward to his abilities. King Arthur said, although there are various abilities in the world of spirits, this is still the first channel for understanding other worlds. And under the gaze of everyone. In the mansion. Upon hearing that Bai Chengfeng was about to kill himself, Tongmo was taken aback for a moment. Then he showed a playful smile and looked up and down at Bai Chengfeng ahead. A mere human. Do you still want to kill me? Human beings are just a regrettable existence, a pitiful creature. Being devoured by me should be your redemption. He smiled calmly and slowly. Just as he was about to wave the golden fan, he heard a noise in his ear. Pop. In an instant, heaven and earth were all quiet. The sunlight penetrates through the clouds without any wind driving their changes. Bai Chengfeng silently took out the hanging grenade launcher from the system backpack. He took out a 40mm grenade and stuffed it into the launcher. Sorry, times have changed. He said calmly. Aim forward and without hesitation pull the trigger directly. A 40mm howitzer was instantly fired, but stopped in mid-air just as it was about to hit Tongmo. The white tail flame that lingers in this silent world. In just a few minutes. Beside Tongmo, he was surrounded by dozens of grenades. After completing all of this, Bai Chengfeng turned his head to look at the still butterfly ninja. Let's distance ourselves a bit. To avoid being splashed later. Bai Chengfeng thought for a moment and then directly picked up the butterfly. Through shallow feather weaving and clothing, the soft body temperature is conveyed in the hands. But he is not the kind of guy who takes advantage of others. Although Butterfly Ninja is indeed beautiful. But he has a way to make the other person come to his door voluntarily. After Bai Chengfeng held the butterfly back a little distance, time stopped. In an instant. Everything has regained its vitality. Tongmo continued to wear a smile on his face. But his pupils contracted violently at this moment. What happened? The grenades that hit him at an unknown time instantly hit him. Boom boom. The moment of sound explosion and explosion. Pang. The milky white air waves swept up by the hot breath were instantly ignited, with bright yellow mixed with blazing white hot breath, splashing out little flames that burned instantly. Goodbye, goodbye. Flames burn and burst, burning all things. A series of bombing sounds mixed with terrifying shockwaves. In an instant, it submerged Tongmo's body. It's easy to tear it apart. Chapter 7. The Determination of Butterfly Ninja. End the Era of Ghosts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. Successfully killed the second string player, Tongmo, world line information changes, earn additional points reward. 300, the smoke dissipated. All that came into view was black ash that had been completely burned up by the explosion, the terrifying power of dozens of grenades stacked together. Even ghosts cannot bear it. The butterfly in Bai Chengfeng's arms stood still, staring ahead in a daze. Her face was full of disbelief. After she realized that the nightmare that had haunted her in the past had finally been completely destroyed at this moment. For a moment tears couldn't help but overflow from the eyes. She instinctively buried herself in the warm embrace of Bai Chengfeng, sobbing softly and choking up, finally. Finally. Sister, I have avenged you. Ah. On weekdays, she disguised herself as her sister. Pretend to be gentle, but your heart is filled with boiling anger. Now, she can finally put down her disguise. At this point, the chat group also fell into a dead silence because even they cannot determine what just happened. It seems like it's just a moment. Tongmo was killed on the spot by dozens of grenades. And Butterfly Ninja, for some unknown reason, was held by Princess Bai Chengfeng to distance herself. This scene. It's simply impossible to describe it with common sense. The girl in the circle said, how could it be? What happened just now? Shouldn't it be that the live streaming function in the group is broken? King Arthur. No, it shouldn't be that reason. Shenming Island Thunder God. If I guess correctly, something amazing must have happened in the world just now. The girl who dreams of going to the moon. Judging from common sense, this is not like teleportation ability. The girl spinning in circles said, it can't be teleportation. Teleportation is ultimately the movement of spatial orientation. To make so many changes at the same time, teleportation cannot do it. Shenming Island Thunder God. It should be a higher level power. For example, time. Shenming Island Thunder God, hiss. What exactly is this newcomer from? It's clear from the group title that he's not strong either. The girl in the circle said, cut, the title is already unreliable. The girl in a circle said, but if it's time ability. It's a bit scary. Starry Sky World. A girl doll with waist-length hair and wearing a black beret. Staring at the messages in the chat group. The cute face of the girl, with delicate features that exude a sense of pride. There is still a purple flower pinned on top of my head. It is the doll controlled by the Black Tower and also the owner of the entire Black Tower space station, the Ability of Time series. It's unbelievable. How did he do it? And the scale of his pause time is probably quite terrifying, otherwise the live broadcast of the chat group should be able to be recorded. This man may have something worth befriending. Heita looked at this scene and murmured softly. To be honest, she is quite interested in time ability. If only Bai Chengfeng could help her with her experiment. Night City. The bright moonlight shines on the sky. In the pitch-black room, the girl was lying quietly on the bed. Time. Lucy stared blankly at the chat group, although she knows that Bai Chengfeng's strength should not be inferior. But the ability to pause time cannot be linked together. If there is help from the other party, then the tragedy of our own world perhaps it can be rewritten. Although Lucy is aware of world information. But she didn't want so many people to sacrifice themselves. Moreover, the plot on her side has not yet begun, and there is still a chance to salvage and change everything. But the only problem. How to make Bai Chengfeng agree to her request. What would Bai Jun like? Well, the most valuable places in the world here should be AI technology and gravity settings. I don't know if Bai Jun's world can use these things. Lucy let out a deep thought. Her jewel-like beautiful eyes shimmered with a faint light. Perhaps, with the help of that young man, I can lead a life different from here. Hear the prompt sound of the chat group. Bai Chengfeng nodded in satisfaction, which could be considered a small bonus. As for the crying butterfly in his arms, he just waited quietly. By the way, take a look at the messages in the chat group. The Notebook Painter said, that's right, it's about the ability of time. Notebook Painter. Everyone in the group is really smart. Thumb. JPG, Shenming Island Thunder God. The ability to not speak of martial arts. Shenming Island Thunder God. That Tongmo really died without any injustice. The girl in a circle said, humph. If you die under the time series ability, it's actually cheaper for this guy. King Arthur. There's a saying that goes, time is all about cheating. JPG. Girl spinning in circles. Pure cheating. Notebook Painter. Don't embarrass me, I'm just a high school student who loves drawing books. The girl who dreams of going to the moon. May I ask, what kind of notebooks are they? The girl in a circle said, it must be about astringency. The Notebook Painter said, if you understand, you will understand. At this point, while Bai Chengfeng was chatting, Butterfly finally stopped her tears and instinctively lifted her head. The handsome face of the young man caught her eye. For a moment, the heart seemed to stop. My cheeks turned slightly red. Wait until the current situation is reflected. Butterfly finally quickly got out of Bai Chengfeng's embrace. She held on to the hem of Hanyu's clothes with somewhat restrained hands, blushing and bowing. Thank you very much. Bai Jun's help. Without you, I wouldn't be able to easily seek revenge. She was already convinced in her heart. With the help of Bai Chengfeng, we can definitely end the era of ghosts. This 1,000-year-old demon ravages it's finally coming to an end. After Butterfly Ninja finishes these things. She mustered up courage and spoke softly with a firm gaze. Great kindness cannot be repaid. By June, no matter what you want, I will try my best to be satisfied. Even if it's me, it's no exception. Chapter 8. Resurrection of the Dead in the Future. No tragic shock. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I only took action for the sake of points. There's no such thing as gratitude, and besides. Are you still live streaming now? Bai Chengfeng replied calmly. Hey. The butterfly regained its composure. Her cheeks turned red with embarrassment and she quickly closed the live broadcast. Everyone who left the chat group expressed regret. The girl spinning in circles said, "Damn it. What are you doing with such a quick reaction?" The girl in the circle said, "I still want to see the future development. I guess the newcomers will definitely not miss the opportunity." King Arthur said, "Well, after all, it's throwing oneself into the embrace, and in my time, there were very few who could resist this temptation." Shenming Island Thunder God. Bai June's ability is quite powerful. If I had such ability, perhaps I could pursue the eternal dream, right? Shenming Island Thunder God. Xiao Ren's life is also very difficult. Like me, she lost her sister. The girl who dreams of going to the moon. Chengfeng June should like astringency, right? The girl in a circle said, "Of course. By the way, why are you all starting to call each other by name? Is there such a good relationship?" At this point, the butterfly looked at the handsome young man who seemed to have walked out of the picture. As her cheeks turned red, her heart unconsciously became tense. Let's go, get ready to solve no tragedy first. And the explosion just now will definitely attract a large number of people. As for what you just said. After resolving the issue of no tragedy, think carefully about it. Bai Chengfeng replied casually. He doesn't mind Butterfly Ren voluntarily dedicating himself. But one thing is the same, and after solving it without any problems and obtaining points for reinforcement. Use these points to boost your strength. Upon hearing this, Butterfly Ninja also came to his senses. She obediently nodded and agreed, following in the footsteps of Bai Chengfeng. Those who hear the sound. The followers of the Eternal Bliss cult who arrived were easily laid to the ground. In the end, Butterfly Ninja and Bai Chengfeng left easily. In a room where an experiment is being conducted. A young man with black hair, a tall figure, and a pale skin like paper. Suddenly stopped walking. At this moment, the test tube in his hand fell to the ground. Bang! The glass test tube shattered instantly, and the liquid flowed out. But in the young man's plum-red eyes, there was an immense coldness and anger. That guy from Tongmo actually died. Who did it? Is it a ghost-killing team? A change that hasn't happened for hundreds of years happened at this time. For me, it's not a good omen. Youth is like a ghost dance with no tragedy. For him, the death on the string was unexpected. Especially the one who died in battle was not an ordinary string player, but the guy from Tongmo. Although Kiyoshi Tsuji is not particularly fond of Tongmo. But his death represents the ghost-killing team or someone's threat has risen to a new level. We must find out what happened behind this. Summon the other guys. Those wastes, I hope they are somewhat useful. At this point, Butterfly Nin and Bai Chengfeng arrived at a room in a hot spring hotel. The calm butterfly sat cross-legged. Like a well-behaved cat. But her gaze was occasionally stealing at Bai Chengfeng on the bed. Chengfeng Jun, what should we do next? No tragedy will definitely not give up easily. Butterfly asked softly. Yoshimoto Tsuji is the first ghost to survive for over 1,000 years, the absolute ruler of ghosts. It shouldn't be that simple to kill it, right? It's very simple. Butterfly Ninja, please help me send out a message. That's in my hands, with the position of the blue flower on the other side. Upon hearing this, Butterfly Ren was momentarily stunned. There is no information about the blue cross flower in the intelligence she is aware of. So it's also unclear what exactly this thing is useful for. But since it was what Chingfeng Jun said, that's definitely right. Okay. By the way, Chingfeng Jun, just call me Endure. If my sister were also here, I would be very emotional to see all the ghosts end. Butterfly chuckled lightly and said. She usually demands of herself that being unable to control her emotions is an immature expression. But after killing Tongmo, the anger in his heart finally dissipated quite a bit. Blue flowers on the other side. It's the key medicinal herb that heals that guy's fear of the sun. So, no matter what, he will definitely come knocking on his door. Just enough to annihilate them together. Bai Chengfeng explained casually. Then, as if remembering something, he turned his head to look at the butterfly next to him. By the way, Ninja, do you hope to resurrect your sister? For him, it is not impossible to resurrect the deceased. Just use the corresponding notebook to extract the ability of the deceased to revive. It shouldn't be a difficult task either. As for no tragedy, he has a whole arsenal of self-defense equipment on hand. There are still some big treasures that haven't been taken out. Hear this question. Butterfly stood still, recalling her gentle face from the past. Her gaze also softened. Of course. Compared to me, my sister is the better person. Then, as she regained her senses, she quickly waved her hand towards Bai Chengfeng. Well, it's just past events. Chengfeng, please go take a shower first. See you later. Bai Chengfeng nodded slightly, then stood up and walked straight away. If you want to resurrect your sister, after mastering the corresponding abilities in the future, perhaps I can help you achieve it. Hear this sentence. The butterfly's heart trembled slightly. She unconsciously pursed her cherry lips and looked up at the direction of Bai Chengfeng's departure. After hesitating for a moment, he took off the butterfly-like feather weaving from his body. Naked jade feet stepped on the wooden board. Follow forward. Chapter 9. Active Butterfly Ninja. All the winding moves. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. At this moment, the white mist of the hot spring is faintly visible. While appearing ambiguous, there was a creaking sound from the wooden board behind. White riding the wind soaking in hot springs. His gaze was slightly placed behind him, confirming the identity of the visitor. By June. Let me help you wipe your back, or do something else. Thanks to your help, even if we didn't, we could have killed Wu Yan. I am already satisfied. The calm and melodious voice of the butterfly came. The slender jade feet stepped on the wooden board, walking step by step towards Bai Chengfeng. There is no taboo at all. Regarding this, Bai Chengfeng just looked at the girl and said with a smile. Ninja, have you figured it out yet? I helped you kill Wu Yan just for the sake of points. Since others have already embraced to this extent. So Bai Chengfeng naturally wouldn't refuse. The girl nodded lightly. Bai Chengfeng extended his hand and waved to the other party. Since that's the case, could you please help me out? He doesn't care whether Butterfly Ninja is trying to repay kindness or resurrect her sister. But since the decision has been made, it should be enjoyed well. Butterfly's cheeks blushed slightly. Her gaze drifted on him. I walked straight ahead and didn't get into the hot spring water. A few hours later. Time has already arrived late at night, and the sky is dotted with stars. Who? Bai Chengfeng relaxed and stretched lazily. He sat by the bed, glanced at the tired and unconscious girl, and covered her with a blanket. Subsequently, Bai Chengfeng sat at the table by the window. It's about time to brainstorm the plot of the new notebook. It's best to be able to spread both eras simultaneously. Hypnosis is a good idea. Bai Chengfeng touched his chin. Hypnosis is a classic notebook that is quite good. And this ability is also very practical and can work in most worlds. There are quite a few books about hypnosis in my past life, just pick a famous one to learn from. Think of it here. After he wrote the plot outline for a new notebook. It is to embrace the young girl and fall asleep peacefully. The next day at noon. Hiss. After waking up, the butterfly frowned slightly and got up, threading back into Hanyu. She pinned the sun will knife back to her waist and breathed a sigh of relief. By June. The news of the flowers on the other side has already spread yesterday. Wu Yan should take action soon. She turned her head to look at Bai Chengfeng, who was drawing at the table, and said with a slight smile. The anger hidden in his eyes on weekdays has been replaced by gentleness. Because she understands. With the help of the youth, the era of ghosts can be ended. Well, it's almost time we set off too. Wu Yan may not be so easily hooked, so it is necessary to be fully prepared. Nin, do you need to rest? Bai Chengfeng put away the painting and stood up to casually ask. And his words made the butterfly bear a gentle glare at him. I'm not such a delicate woman. Although Bai Jun is very powerful, I also want to help. The butterfly murmured softly. Her purple eyes reflect the figure of the young man. Line. Next, let's go to the corresponding location. Wu Yan definitely knows that I killed Tongmo, and there's also something about the other side flower. Bai Chengfeng stood up with a butterfly in his arms. Go straight to a barren mountain in the suburbs. On that mountain. The tomb of a destined wife is also the location of the blue flower on the other side. Blue bienhua is a plant that is difficult to cultivate due to its poor water and soil quality. Even slight adjustments to the environment can quickly lead to death, even in the original work. There is only one description of the blooming place of the flowers on the other side. So no tragedy will surely come. In the evening. In the infinite city. Guewu Suji looked coldly at the remaining strings. It's been hundreds of years. You not only failed to grasp the position of the blue flower on the other side. Surprisingly, he was directly killed by someone. My blood on you is really a waste. His eyes were incredibly cold. These strings are just tools for him. As long as you can obtain the blue other side flower, it doesn't matter if you kill them all. The other strings bowed and pleaded guilty. But in their eyes, they were also very surprised and shocked. Because of the strength of Tongmo, as those who are also winding, they are most aware of it. Just a ghost-killing team, how could he to kill him? That guy who suddenly emerged. What did it come from? I don't care what you're busy with right now. Now prepare to go to the location of the blue flower on the other side immediately. Even if it's a trap, why not? Human beings are just lowly creatures, just kill them. Guewu Suji said in a cold voice. Just dying a child mill is nothing. But the news spread by the blue flower on the other side had to make him pay attention. This is the first turning point that has been searched for hundreds of years. No matter what, you can't miss it. Upon hearing this, the other actors immediately nodded and agreed. With the ability within the infinite city, everyone can be teleported to their corresponding positions. That's why. No tragedy means there is no fear of encountering danger. Even in the face of unexpected situations, all you need to do is return to Infinite City. Accompanied by nightfall. Activate the Mingnu ability to control the Infinite City. Shua. All the actors and Wu Yan disappeared in place. Target kill that boy and obtain the position of the blue flower on the other side. Chapter 10. 12 Ghost Moon comes out together. No tragedy will come. You are listening at novel full.audio. In the residence of the ghost killing team. In the ancestral houses passed down from the ancestors, as the protagonist of this generation of ghost-killing teams, Shibuya Furuya silently listened to the report. He suffered severe facial disfigurement and blindness. Only in this way can we rely on it to know what happened below today. If it were an outsider here, I'm afraid no matter what, I wouldn't be able to believe the seemingly weak young man in front of me. Unexpectedly, he is the lord who governs the entire ghost-killing team. Who on earth spread the news of the blue flower on the other side? What is the identity of the young man walking beside Butterfly Ninja? The house was filled with a low and deep voice. And on the side? The woman in charge of reporting work answered softly. I'm not sure. There is currently no response regarding the contact with Butterfly Ninja. Do you need to notify other columns to urgently gather? Hear this answer. Sonia Furuya remained silent for a moment, shook her head, and took a deep breath. Don't disturb them now, it seems that they are in a corner that I don't know. There has been a significant change in Ren's body. The death of the second string is enough to verify this point. He is very clear. Even now, it's too late to summon the pillars. Because the news of the blue flower on the other side has spread. So, that guy from Wu Yen will definitely not let go of this news, but will set off immediately. Now the property is shining brightly. Praying for the butterfly to endure is not reckless behavior. But it's about having a solid grasp that can eliminate those strings. Otherwise, there will only be a dead end waiting for that girl. The night is deep. On that barren mountain. Butterfly Ninja and Bai Chengfeng stood on the other side where the flowers were. But the flowers on this other side have not yet bloomed. Because of this kind of flower. It is a flower that blooms only for 2 to 3 days during the day in a year. If it weren't for such harsh conditions, no tragedy would not have been discovered for so long. In the chat group at this time, Butterfly Ninja reopened the live broadcast. Ding, group member, Butterfly House Worm Pillar opens live broadcast room function, group members can watch on their own, the girl in a circle said, it's back on air again. Just now, I had a plan to suppress it. Are you going to take care of all the ghosts at once? The girl in a circle said, by the way, can we keep a portion of this creature's blood? The girl in a circle said, let me see if I can do an experiment later. God of Thunder on Shenming Island said, let's forget about it. This kind of filthy thing should be completely wiped out. It wouldn't be good if it leaked and gave birth to a new ghost. The girl who dreams of going to the moon. I also think it's better to completely erase it. King Arthur said, anyway, Black Tower, you have so many experimental materials and you don't lack one from the world over there. Don't worry about that. Girl spinning in circles. Whispering. The girl in a circle said, forget it, since we've all said that, it's better to completely wipe out these ghosts. But can we handle so much? King Arthur said, it shouldn't be a problem. Don't forget the ability of the Wind Riding Lord. Shenming Island Thunder God. How to use a word, hang it. From a scientific perspective, although the ability to stop time is strong, it also depends on the limitations, said the girl spinning in circles. The girl in a circle said, by June's time has stopped, probably there is also an upper limit. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Believe in by June. Butterfly House Worm Pillar. But it seems that Bai June's physique is currently only slightly stronger than ordinary people, and he should have slightly strengthened his points. The girl in a circle said, how did you know about this? Butterfly House Worm Pillar. Guess what? King Arthur. The amount of information is a bit large. Under the discussion of the group members. Beside Bai Chengfeng and Butterfly Ninja, a sudden change occurred. At this moment, a strange rustling sound echoed from the nearby forest. A breathtaking and terrifying ghostly aura almost instantly struck my face. The next second, a tall man wearing a kimono with purple snake patterns and black patches, as well as a black horse riding hakama, tightly grasped the handle of the knife and walked straight out. He has 6 eyes. At the iris of the left and right eyes in the middle. Engraved with upper string and respectively. Undoubtedly. He is Black Death Mao, who is one of the top performers. And behind him were the other 12 ghost moons. Why are you guys the only ones? If you want to know the location of the blue flower on the other side, let Wu Yan personally appear. Black Death Mao, you're a guy who almost got cut to death by Yuan-E in your 80s. What qualifications do I have to stand in front of me? Bai Chengfeng stood in place, observing these 12 ghost moons. He noticed that among these people, he did not see a pitiless figure, so he sneered. If I guess correctly, the current tragedy should be in the dark or perhaps peering within the infinite city. Old Lu like him will definitely not appear easily. What are you saying? Black Death Mao gritted his teeth tightly and stared at Bai Chengfeng in front of him. He didn't understand how the young man in front of him knew about such a distant past. But that matter is for him. Undoubtedly, it is an absolute shame. On the faces of the other ghosts who wound the strings, an unexpected expression suddenly appeared. Because they had never heard of such a thing happening to Black Death Mao in the first string. Suddenly. Just as Black Death Mao couldn't resist wanting to take action. The cold voice of a young man came from the side, but it rang out under the moonlight. Oh. I am a creature that is infinitely close to perfection. If you are willing to honestly hand over the position of the blue other side flower, I can give you the most blood and become my strongest subordinate. Under the shade of a nearby tree. The plum-red eyes stared at Bai Chengfeng. Ghost Dance Suji's figure, without any tragedy, finally appeared at this moment. Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted directly by the boy. You talk a lot. I'm still rushing to finish work and go home. Bai Chengfeng's eyes twitched slightly as he raised his foot and stomped the ground. The next moment the entire universe has come to a standstill. Only Bai Chengfeng remained, his mouth curling up as he gazed at the scenery in front of him. It's time to give you some extra time, big baby.